temperatures higher than the ones at which organisms normally survive, that is their optimum temperature, is a kind of stimulus that can bring about global transcriptional and the first indication of temperature acting as a stress that can bring about change in gene expression came in 1930s with the observation of chromosomal puffs in the Drosophila genome. So those were the regions which were specifically marked for enhanced transcription. So this brought about an idea that in response to changing temperatures, the level of gene expressions can also change. Now the interesting fact here is that the organisms, they are surviving from very low freezing temperatures to even very high temperatures. Those are the temperatures at which thermophiles survive. And therefore, it is not actually the temperature that is bringing about the change. It is basically the shift in temperature that brings about the change. And even a shift of very few degrees, 2 to 3 degrees, can bring about that change. So we have a range of organisms thriving at different temperatures, such as the mesophiles, which survive at temperatures between 15 to 40 degrees Celsius. Here are some examples such as Streptococcus, Pseudomonas. We have another set of organisms called psychrophiles, which live at very low temperatures such as minus 20 to up to 10 degrees Celsius. For example, Xanthoria elegans, this is a lichen that can photosynthesize even at freezing temperatures of minus 24 degrees Celsius. The Chrysobacterium is a very interesting organism because it has been isolated from ice caps and has been dated back to 1,20,000 years. Belgica is a very interesting insect again because it can tolerate very high salt concentration. It can also live in very acidic conditions, plus it can also thrive under ultraviolet rays. So this also gives an indication that all these stress adaptations somehow merge at a particular metabolic stage. Another set of organisms that live at very high temperatures, such as 41 to 122 degrees Celsius, are called thermophiles. The Picrophilus shown here, it is again one that lives at very high temperature and it also thrives at very low pH, almost minus 0.06 pH is the one that it lives, and it can in fact not survive at pH more than 4. So it's a member of Archaea. Another, we have a similar co-culture of Pyrococcus and Methanopyrus, which thrives at very high temperatures. Similarly, the worm Alvinella, very popularly called Pompey worm, also thrives at higher temperatures and has been isolated from hydrothermal vents of the Pacific Ocean. Now the heat shock term needs proper understanding here. So if it is a particular organism that is thriving at minus 20 degrees Celsius, so even a raise of temperature to minus 17 or minus 16 degrees Celsius is a heat shock for that organism. So heat should not be perceived as a high temperature over 40, 50, 60 degrees Celsius. Rather, it should be considered a raise in temperature, and that too in the sense of biological systems, that raise of even 1, 2 or 3 degrees is sufficient to create a heat shock. So in this figure, on the left you can see a normal cell, and on the right we have a cell that has experienced a heat shock. So there are changes at the organelle level and at the level of overall organization of filaments, membranes, organelles, proteins, and several other factors. For example, if we talk about cytoskeleton, there is a major reorganization of actin filaments into stress fibers. Now these stress fibers are actually contractile actinomyosins, and they have a central role in cell adhesion and morphogenesis. Similarly, there is aggregation of vimentin, that is a type 3 intermediate filament, or even other filament forming proteins. So they start forming aggregates because there is unfolding of their native structure. So overall, the entire cytoskeletal framework at very high temperatures, it collapses. The Golgi system and the endoplasmic reticulum, they experience heavy fragmentation, so that there is a major shutdown of the protein. Other organelles which are affected include mitochondria. Now this is a major consequence because if the membranes of mitochondria, they get disrupted, then there is uncoupling of oxidative phosphorylation. So this overall leads to a decrease in ATP generation. So within the cell, there is crisis of energy. In the cytosol, there is appearance of stress granules. Now these stress granules, these are in fact RNA protein structures, because there are lots of mRNAs present which are not being translated because of lack of energy also, and because several other components, those are not functional. So the initiation components of the translation machinery, they also get accumulated into it, and there are certain other proteins involved which together form granules and live in the cytosol. Other than that, there is decrease in the number of lysosomes. Some very important proteins such as the RNA polymerase and the translation factor EFG, that is elongation factor, that faces very low activity, that gets disintegrated. The localization of organelles, that is disrupted. RNA splicing on the whole faces a setback. And other than that, in general, the proteins lying within the cell, they get unfolded, there is entanglement, and they start forming. In addition to all this, a very major change occurs at the membranes, the internal membranes as well as the plasma membrane. Here the overall protein to lipid ratio gets changed, and in response to high temperature, the membranes become more fluid. So there are more chances of it being leaky, the permeability increases, because of which the cytosolic pH decreases and the overall homeostasis gets disturbed. Also, specific changes in the nucleoli are observed, which actually occur due to the changes in ribosomal RNAs which are not correctly processed, and also because the overall gradular changes in the proteins that occur, those are also faced by ribosomal proteins. So overall, the ribosomal RNAs and ribosomal proteins, they together start forming aggregates. So it is not just the membranes, not just the proteins, but the entire organization of the cell that gets compromised at higher temperatures. And it is because of these changes that a differential gene expression is initiated so as to adapt to the rising temperatures, and in case these adaptations are not sufficient, the cellular machinery collapses.